My name is Andy Lopez. You might know me as the Invisible Gardener. I hope everybody's doing really well today. I'm doing a little short quickie today to explain a little bit about what I mean from the soul to the soil, or the soil to the soul. And also to talk just a little bit about how you and I make a difference. And the reason why I connect the soil to the soul is because I tell people, if you believe in the soul, right? It habits your body. If you want it to be happy, if you want to be happy, your body has to be in healthy conditions, has to be healthy. In order for your body to be healthy, your environment has to be healthy. Your soil needs to be healthy. People don't realize that the health of the soil is very important. The health of our body, the health of the earth depends on living soil. Now, the earth can be, there are lots of planets around there with no life on it, or that as we know it, right? They also don't have soil. And the soil needs clean water, it needs clean environment. So we have done nothing but pollute our environment since the day, almost from the very beginning. True, for a long time we lived in harmony with nature. The American Indians lived in harmony for tens of thousands of years. Didn't do a thing to pollute the environment. They lived within the environment. They understood the benefits of the soil. And all throughout time, there are different cultures and societies that have understood the benefits of the soil. It's only recently when we have changed and become into money that it makes a difference. And so what I want to get across to you is really very simple, that what we do makes a difference. My first book is called How to Heal the Earth in Your Spare Time. The point there was you don't have to change anything radically, a little bit at a time. The food you eat, the way you get to work, where your consciousness is at, what you appreciate, what you learn to listen. I was just talking to somebody this morning. When's the last time you listened to a tree? People talk to trees all the time. Do they listen? No. So my show here is to several things that I hope to do. I've been doing this since early 70s. Is first of all to help you get off these toxic chemicals that you're putting into your soil and that you're putting into your body. Chemical fertilizers are not the answers. And I was talking to a lady yesterday. She says, I'm using this great organic fertilizer, but my trees are not doing very well. She doesn't have any soil there. And what she has is subsoil. It's a substrate below, it's supposed to be below the soil level. So there's no soil on top, and you're down to the substrate. A lot of people are that way. And that's because I see all the time people raking the leaves up, the gardeners blowing, take everything, put them in trash bags and haul them away. That stuff would normally convert into soil. And also Mother Nature, up until recently, was very good at providing compost, making compost and making soil. But now we pretty much have interfered with that. And it's hard to understand because in third world countries, they want to grow more. Like recently with the wars going on, and Russia being a #1 manufacturer of things that you go into making chemical fertilizer, people all freaked out that they won't be able to grow anything and they're starved. And these are third world countries. What I mean by that is, I mean that they have more of an environment than we do, and they may be poor in one way, but they're really, really rich in a lot of other things, in healthy soil, for example, and having an abundance of resources they can use. And this is an ideal time for them to say, well, we're not going to take your fertilizer and chemicals anymore. We're going to go sustainable. We're going to grow in such a way that the property soil gets healthier and healthier and healthier and produces more and more and more. Right? And that's one of the things that I'm trying to teach you is that anytime it's tough enough now that the city, right? The city, all cities have chemicals in the water to kill the bacteria and basically destroy the worms, to destroy the microbes, right? So you have sprinkler systems that's constantly watering your property with this toxic water, and then you throw in toxic chemicals and all kinds of pollutants. So no wonder the trees in the property are having a hard time because the soil is the process of dying. So it doesn't. One of the things that happens is the soil doesn't entirely die. There's nobody in there. No, you have the bad guys. The good guys and the bad guys don't live in the same place. Technically, there's no such thing as good guys or bad guys. But from my point of view, the good guys are the microbes and living organisms that provide nutrients to the plants. There are other organisms and stuff. What they do is they eat the plants once the plants are dying. They contribute to it decomposing. They contribute to it returning. You see, right? There's a little difference there. So that's what this show is all about, helping you be with practical solutions that you can learn how to make compost, that you can learn about microbes, you can learn how to do a worm farm. There are lots and lots of simple techniques that you can do to grow your own food, to be organic, to help your trees, your fruit trees, your grass, your lawns, everything around you do really well. If everything around you is doing really, really, really well and healthy, you will too. That's right, you will too. And if you're sick, just look outside, look at the lawn, look at your property. A lot of times when I go to a person's place, I do house calls. If you're lucky to be in my neighborhood, I'm happy to come and do a house call. I did a house call just yesterday. And even before, when it's just driving up, I could see that they're in the same situation as everybody else around here, is that there's no soil. The substrate soil below the ground, right? It's below where the soil should be. So they have not allowed the soil to continue to manifest, nature to make soil. And of course, they're not using compost. And if they do use compost, they use stuff that they buy in the store that's totally dead. Any compost that's thrown in a plastic bag is not alive. You want the soil to be alive with the proper microbes. Talking to another person the other day, oh, I make excellent compost. Will you use any of these things in you're making the compost process? No. Well, then there's a difference, right? In my opinion. Okay, so what you want, the reason why you make compost, not so much in the recycling aspect of it, because you can basically, you're going to have maybe two systems of compost to make. One, you can make it for recycling all your food waste and everything like that. That's a slightly different process. The other one is you want to have the microbes in there. You're making compost that's rich in microbes and minerals, see? And that is what you use on your property. You can actually blend the two together. You have the compost you made to recycle. I have a friend that has a worm farm. It's actually my worm farm there, and I'm trying to teach her and the children the difference between making compost and having a worm farm. And she's learning, but in the process, she's killed lots and lots of worms because she'll get kitchen waste, put it in a bucket, let it sit for a while, and when it's really stinky, they put it in with the worms, and the worms die. Me, when I feed the worms, I literally, when I go shopping, I said, this is for me and this is for the worms. They love bananas, they love all kinds of things, but not when it's rotting. Okay? And so I do that. I literally go there and I give them the banana, right? Or I give them the whatever vegetables, lettuces. They love all kinds of things, and to feed them. I want them to multiply. The more of them, the better. And in the process of taking care of them, you end up with this amazing liquid. In this liquid, you have this rich, highly mineralized, highly microbiologically active product. A liquid comes out. Now you get a liquid, but eventually what you have to do is you have to take all the worms out, separate them from the worm compost that's in there, put them aside, take the worm compost and use that. You can make a tea out of it because it will continue to produce microbes. It has earthworms' eggs in it, so if you put them in your garden, the earthworms will grow. And then you take the worms that you had and you put them back in, but in a certain way. You want to layer. There's a certain way you want to layer it down to aerate it so it doesn't die in there without oxygen. And then you start feeding it again, and then you multiply. You can literally have 100,000 worms, 150,000 worms. When I first bought did my little worm farm. I bought 10,000 worms. That's not enough. That wasn't enough. 10,000 worms turned into 100,000 worms within 6 months. And you have to take care of them in such a way that they don't die. You see, right? There's certain things they cannot eat. And if you give them too much of the junk food, they'll die. You can't, of course, feed them grass clippings that you've been using Roundup with, right? These are all logical things to me, but maybe not so much for people, right? So that's what the show is about. By the way, it's one of my artworks I do there in the background. So that's what this show is about. And I have several other shows, What's in Your Garden, right? Of course, people email me about problems in the garden. And then I have another show called Me and My Refractometer, teaches you how to use a refractometer. It's a wonderful tool you can use that will help you see what's going on with your plants. An experienced organic gardener like me doesn't need a refractometer. But I can use a refractometer to for other people and say, look, this is what's going on. I used to go when I used to go shopping with my mom, she would always grab something and start eating it, and the grocer guy, well, no. After a while, the grocer, wait a minute, they would give her a slice to eat, and a little slice to me. So now when I go shopping, and I always talk to the grocer there and says, I like to. A little slice of that apple, please. And he thinks I'm going to eat it. Well, what I do is I put it in my refractometer, and I look at it, and I go, do you know this is a rating of 10? It should be 23 and higher. And just because it's sold as an organic product doesn't mean the organic grower knows what they're doing. So that a level 10, what should you buy? Something that has a level 10 or a level 23, just without even knowing anything. You go, I'll take the 23, right? Exactly. And I'll explain to you all that more in detail as we go. And so I'm here every day. I'm going to do like a shorty, a quickie. This is a little quickie, right? And once or twice a month, I'm doing a 30-minute one. And I'm also having other podcasts that I'm on too. Soil Matters, you can look it up, Soil Matters, or It's the Biology, look it up. I'm in there too, okay? And we're talking, these are microbiologists, different growers, from different parts of the world. So that's why I am there, because I have a little bit of insight to other stuff. My book is called Don't Panic, It's Organic. That's my latest book. My first book was How Do You Heal the Earth in Your Spare Time. That was 1972. And just recently, somebody was contacting me and was telling me that don't panic, it's organic, right? It's one of the sayings I say. And he asks, I think it's one of his AIs that he's using, one of his chatbots. How did Don't Panic, It's Organic first come to being, right? Who brought it up? Even though I guess he was thinking that it wasn't me that brought it up, right? And the AI answered, and it wasn't entirely correct, because the AI covered, hitchhikers to the galaxy, right? They say don't panic. There's another guy, lots of things like don't panic, grow organic, or don't panic, eat organic, right? And there's several other books that start with don't panic. But it didn't mention me. So I did a little search on my Google thing. What is, what an act series tell me about, show me how Don't Panic, It's Organic came into being. And it did mention those other things, but it also mentioned that I have a trademark to it in 1972, which is and so my book now is called Don't Panic, It's Organic. There are a bunch of books out there. And people are also confused. Well, if you own the trademark, so how come you let all these people do it? Trademark is done in industry. So my Don't Panic, It's Organic is mainly education, in the education industry. Invisible Gardener, I own the trademark too. That's in the gardening industry, see, right? So even then, it's only locally. There's an Invisible Gardener of England, and I understand there's a Chinese version of the Invisible Gardener. But I have Invisible Gardener USA, and I have invisiblegardener.com, and so on, right? And so, and people all the time try to sue me and stuff. You can't say that. And I said, well, you really should have looked up who owns a copyright or who owns a trademark. But that's another story there. So the way to get in touch with me is really simple. If you have questions, you want If you want some answers, if you're doing something that's helping the earth and you want to be on my show as a guest. So the way you get a hold of me, you go to my website, invisiblegardener.com, right? And you can what I would do is go to Invisible Gardener, that's INVISIBLEGARDENER.com. And there's an inquiry form that you can take. So if you want to go directly there, after .com, you put /inquiry, INQUIRY. Go to that address. It'll take you to a form that you fill out. You can say, I heard you on Don't Panic, It's Organic, which is really the name of this show, right? Don't Panic, It's Organic. The latest version is from your soil to your soil, right? Because I've been here for a long time. I have different versions of this show. And then you can ask me the questions, and I will answer on my next show, right? So this is not meant to be answering questions or anything like that. I'm also getting ready to do an online workshop. Everything that I talk about is going to be on the workshop. I'm developing it online, so you have videos. You'll be able to see me, talk to me specifically every weekday, weekends. I haven't decided if it's Saturday or a weekday. More than likely, I'm going to do a Saturday. I think people have the time to do a Saturday, but also too, if they don't do the live program, they'll be able to, because since I tape it, they'll be able to see the show and still ask questions and still get to the videos. And if you go, once you're at my website, sign up for the newsletter. The newsletter is also one of the easiest way to communicate with me. One of the things I've done in the newsletter is there's an email button you click on. An email will pop up already propagated with my address and your email address. You just fill in the comment in there, a question, and talk to me. And I don't answer back because I can't answer your email, all the emails. But what I do is I pick the ones that make a lot of sense for me, because I can't answer them all either. And I will answer on my next show. I try to go through all the emails on a regular basis so I can answer them. If you wish us to send email to my email address, it will go there with literally I had 40,000 emails the other day and I could not go through them all. A few people said, I emailed you. I said, well, you didn't go through the channels you're supposed to be going through because I can't delete. After a few hundred deletes, I'm going, oh dear. And I had to delete almost all of them at one time. And I don't like doing that. So if it's important, you want to go through the channels. That's what happens when you do. If you click an inquiry form, you fill that up. It comes from my website, which goes into a specific box, which I do not have to look for. Okay? So I'm happy to answer all your questions. I tell people I don't do marital questions, even though the good old boy wants to use chemicals and the wife wants to be organic. I think I've helped in many ways that way. While you're at the website, take a look at the store. I have Super Seaweed, which is a microbiological activator. I made it myself. I've been making it for years. This is what I do this is what I spray my famous customers with. Okay, Super Seaweed. They pay me to go and I have a machine and I spray their property. It's a microbiological activator. The key there is a microbiological activator. That means you have to have something there to activate. So I cannot spray dead soil and expect it to come back. That's why I tell the customers, okay, you have to buy compost. And this is the compost I want you to buy. Not the stuff you buy in the store, this crap, unless there are some good ones there, which there usually aren't, right? Again, if it's in plastic black, it's no good. And so locally, the way, in your neighborhood, what I would do is join an organic garden club and find out who's the guy that's making the compost there. And that's the person you want to buy it from. And even then you want to ask them, what are you putting in your compost? If they're not adding any type of not all type of animal manures are good. The only certain ones are the ones you really want. All animal manures have a lot of good things in it, a lot of different types of microbes and different things like that. I found there are only certain ones that are really, really very good at what you want. And what you really want is some microbes that will eat the minerals, and then the form that they have, the poop or whatever they call it, it's in a form that the plants can eat it. And not only that, but there's a special microbes that lives on the root hairs of the trees, and that's a job. It takes the liquid that it gets from these other guys and pumps it through the tree, the root systems of the tree, and the tree gets it. That's how everything has evolved to get that. And they're very good at all these there's trace minerals and there's exotic trace minerals. And exotic trace minerals are the ones you cannot duplicate because it's exotic. It's found in the very, very, very tiny, minute amount. You see, right? So I'm here on a regular basis at invisiblegardener.com. Through the website, you can click on the social media. You'll see my Twitter. You'll see my YouTube. It's over. I have a I don't know how many shows are up there. I've been doing for quite a long time. I take a whole bunch down. They've been there for too long. They're in the wrong format. Uh, but through the social media, you can connect. You can see all the different things I'm doing. I also write music, and I do artwork. There's some of the artwork in the back. And so, thank you very much for tuning in today. If you have any questions about what I just said today, or any other shows, just you know what to do. Go to invisiblegardener.com. And if you have bought my book, which is how you get it, you go to the store, click on it on the book there, it takes you to Amazon. You can go ahead and order it. But please go back there in a little while and do the review, right? Do the review. And if you're listening to on YouTube or whatever system you're using, either you can follow, you can hit the like button, lots of different ways to let the system know that you like what I'm doing. So thank you very much. Happy growing organic, of course. Bye now. How do you turn this off? Bye, everybody. Thank you for listening to my show or watching it. See you next week. Remember, it's invisiblegardener.com. That's me, Invisible Gardener. Bye.